Okay, um, let me apologize for what happened today. All right, got caught up in some traffic in Warrens, so um, by the time I got to Warrens, I was 15 minutes away from home. No, it was about quarter to one or so. So we're going to start um, with our program this afternoon. We're going to be looking at module 3 and 4. We see how much of module 3 we can get through. Look at module 4. All right. When we're looking at module 3, we're looking at purchasing and receiving. This is one of the risk factors that we would have talked about on the first day of the whole of the semester. What I'm going to do, I'm going to share my screen with you. Hope it works. TV. All right. Hold on a minute. Hold on a minute, please. It's over. Just hold on a minute, please. All right. And that's going to work today.
So I can try join back with my computer. This is Ronisha because it's take a while
Okay.
ago signing on my phone.
All right. Okay. Okay. All right, everybody can see. Everybody can see my Everybody can see my screen.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. I was trying a different technique. All right. So we're looking at purchasing and receiving. All right. We're looking at purchasing and receiving, and as I said before, this is one of the risk factors. So we are telling people to be careful of their where their source is. All right, where their source of foods are coming from. All right. All right. So a safe source is a source whose products are wholesome. They are manufactured and obtained and stored and distributed, keeping with food safety standards and regulations. So you'll agree with me that wholesome food is good food? Yeah? Hello? Is wholesome food good food?
Eat.
If I tell you
Yes,
give you unwholesome food, you want to eat it?
no.
No. So unwholesome food is bad food. Wholesome food is good food. All right?
Okay.
All right. So your safe source to put it simply is the places that you choose to buy your things from. All right. So most you like to go by lanterns and buy your foods, right? Or you like Golden Apple and Muscovado?
Lanterns.
Lanterns, yeah. All right. So for you that would be a safe source. All right. It's your choice. You feel comfortable going there. All right. I suspect that the foods are stored and in keeping with food safety standards and regulations. So that is why you would go there to get your food. All right. So your safe source again, most likely has been licensed by the Ministry of Health because the place that sells foods is authorized to sell food. If it is selling vegetables or whatever, vegetables or ground provisions, the Ministry of Agriculture will have some interest in that particular entity. But once you're selling food, you're supposed to be licensed by the Ministry of Health. All right. Your source has facilities and workers and equipment that produces a safe product. All right. Your source, the safe source, should be inspected regularly by the relevant authority. The relevant authority mean the Ministry of Health. All right. So, and set up an entity to sell food or to distribute food, you have to make sure that you have certain purchasing and receiving procedures and standards. In other words, you're looking at what would be you will have written down as your policy what would be the conditions of the food that are being purchased by management. All right. So in some cases you would have to make sure that the people who are bringing like potentially hazardous food, bringing chicken and beef and pork and that sort of thing, that they don't have the same schedule as the people who are bringing ground provisions, because there could be some cross contamination at the point of receiving. So your delivery and purchasing will be set up in such a way so as to make sure that potential hazardous foods are at one time, and the other foods that can cause contamination with respect to dirt would be another time. obviously you have to inspect all the food. Now, at the airport and at the seaport, when food comes in, it isn't that the inspector will inspect all the foods. All right, that is time consuming. So there's a particular formula that they will use to select food, to inspect the food. So you will select food from your height, from the bottom, at the top, at the side, and behind. All right. Obviously, you're looking at a palette of goods. So you will select certain pallets. There's a formula that you can use. And if those, in inspecting the food, you realize that all of the food is fit for human consumption, that you have wholesome food, then you can deem that whole shipment or that whole container as wholesome. It is fit for human consumption. Now, on the other hand, if you inspect the food and you realize that there's a certain percentage, and you will know that percentage also from your formula, where the food is not fit for human consumption, then you will have to condemn that particular consignment or that particular container based on what you would have done as far as inspection is concerned. But the opportunity can also come about, the situation can also come about where you will suppose you're buying saying like chilled products or frozen products. You have what we call a thermograph on the front of the container. First of all, the owner and the inspector will look at that thermograph to make sure that there's no deep fluctuation in temperatures in that particular container. What happens is that when the container is closed, they will put on the thermograph. The thermograph will start registering the temperature. If someone turns off the power, then obviously there'll be a drop. There'll be an increase in the temperature, and it'll be registered on this card, what we call a thermograph. So basically, you can look at that thermograph and you can tell whether your chilled foods or frozen foods will have problems or if they are fit for human consumption. Everybody understanding me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Everybody hear me loud and clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right. So obviously, if you have an entity where you are going to be selling food, you don't go to the courts and buy 10 domestic fridges to keep the food in. You would look for the right size of the commercial freezers or chillers in order to make sure that your products are kept safe and are fit for human consumption. All right. So you have to provide all the necessary receiving equipment and the right size facilities, the right size refrigerator. Obviously, you're going to be training your receiver clerk to be able to use a thermometer, or in some cases to use a pH meter. You want to make sure that those foods that are coming in frozen are actually frozen, and those that are coming in chilled are also coming in at the right temperature. All right. So if the receiver clerk is receiving frozen goods, what temperatures will they be looking for? Anybody? What's the temperature that they'll be looking for to make sure that the food is fit for human consumption?
41 Fahrenheit.
Hello?
Is it 41
No.
degrees?
Frozen food, frozen.
Oh.
Give me another number. You got that number written down. Anybody can help me? What temperature are you looking at? What temperature are you looking for? If the food is frozen. Hello.
21.
How much?
Degree?
21? No. All right. If you have a food that are chilled. So you're braining grapes, you're braining apples, you're braining certain vegetables. What temperature are you looking for?
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, please.
Joy here.
Yeah.
And Raekwon said that he may not be able to make it to class today.
Okay.
Alrighty.
All right.
Degrees Celsius, sir?
How much?
5 degrees.
I didn't hear it.
5.
5 degrees Celsius, of course. All right, 5 degrees Celsius or 40 degrees Fahrenheit. And someone mentioned 41 degrees. Yes, 41 could work too. All right. Up to 45 can work. But the lower the temperature, the better. When I say the lower the temperature, the lowest temperature for chilling would be 40 degrees Fahrenheit. Either 5 degrees Celsius or 4.4 degrees Celsius. So your receiving clerk must be able to read a thermometer and read it properly. You realize that some of these guys can't read the thermometer and they know what temperature is right from which one is wrong? Or you wouldn't have realized that? A fella took my temperature, he told me 47 degrees Celsius. Well, I should be dead by then. All right? And then he take it again, he tell me 32. 32 in the temperature for human beings. So that just shows the point that people must be trained. They must be trained to calibrate a thermometer. Anybody know what calibrated a thermometer means? To calibrate a thermometer.
Sir, I assume it means to set it to the right degrees, I guess.
Yeah, how will you get that done?
I didn't know I never used a thermometer.
You never use a thermometer? Anybody ever use a thermometer?
Only the one under the armpit for the baby.
Okay, all right.
You just stick it in.
Yeah. Put it in baby mouth.
Under the arm.
On the arm. Okay. All right. What temperature are you looking for?
36.3, I think. Or 5.
Okay.
36 or 38.
Suppose it read 47 we would do.
And if you were too high, we ain't gonna go to the hospital.
Your baby dead. Or dead.
Oh,
All right.
gosh. Don't say that, sir.
Okay. All right. Well, my temperature tell me at 47.
Well, I tell my have my temperature taken too, and the woman tell me some nonsense. No man, I said, huh? And she said again. I said, all right. Anyway, no.
Okay. So you see the point I'm trying to make, that people must be trained. And you're right. Your receiving clerk must be trained to read the thermometer and also calibrate the thermometer. We often calibrate our watches, all right? And we calibrate it to the Greenwich Mean Time. There's some watches that are calibrated at there's a tower in United States of America, atomic tower that calibrates the particular device. Then if you go to England, there's one in Germany that it will take the time from. If you go to China, all right, there's one in Japan that it will calibrate too. All right, so there's certain watches that have these three atomic towers. I think one in America, one in Germany, and one in Japan that will normally calibrate the watches to the right time. All right. Now, if you have a policy written down with respect to purchasing and receiving, then there should be something mentioned about where you should reject a shipment. All right. Who should make the decision to reject the shipment of food? that question came on the multiple choice. Who should make that determination? Who will make that decision?
Sorry, could repeat the question?
No, I was saying that
The
written
boss,
down,
the manager.
the manager or the supervisor. All right. So I was saying that if you're going to be rejecting a shipment of food, don't take it upon yourself as the normal clerk to make that decision. Draw it to the attention of your supervisor, draw it to the attention of your manager, so that they can make that decision, not you. The food don't belong to you. All right, you just receiving it, but you're making sure that the company or the restaurant or the hotel is, because you have been trained, you're making sure that they have food which is fit for human consumption. Everybody understanding me? All right. I hope that you're writing, all right? So write down this here. Write down this. Critical dates. All right? And then I got some questions. Everybody finished writing?
No, sir.
All right. Am I taking the temperature of that little child? Huh? All right. So let's look at these critical dates. Let's look at expiry dates. There are a lot of people who feel that whenever a product has an expiry date, there's some what we say leeway that you can have 2 or 3 days after the date that you can use it. All right. But you will see from the definition of the use by date, it's saying that after that particular date, the manufacturer cannot guarantee the wholesomeness of the product. In other words, the manufacturer cannot guarantee that the food is fit for human consumption. All right. You might eat it and nothing happens, but if something happens, then you can't go to action the manufacturer. The manufacturer has put a use by date there, which is telling you he or she cannot guarantee the wholesomeness of the product beyond that particular date. With the best by date, we said that we cannot guarantee the nutritional value of the product. And normally those products are like up to, will have a best by date of more than 3 months. All right. So in the United States of America, they pay quite a lot of attention to labeling. All right. Up to this morning, I had a staff meeting and we were discussing about labeling of coconut water and other juices. I don't mean you go to buy a sorrel with ginger and it got SG on it. I mean that. Or I mean you go to buy sea moss and it got an S on top of the cork and nothing else. I'm talking about proper labeling. Your label should have on your name and your address and your telephone number, some sort of contact, some sort of information that we can contact you by. That particular product should have the ingredients in descending order. All right. So in Barbados, we don't pay much attention to labeling because we don't have the staff. When I say we, I mean we in Barbados, because the Ministry of Commerce, those are the persons who are responsible for enforcing labeling of foods. So they don't have the staff, hence we fall down a lot on when it comes to labeling. And your label should be in an authorized translation as opposed to a foreign language. If you have a foreign language, it should be accompanying English language for Barbados. In Canada, you have English and you have French. All right? But it's very, very, very important that your products have the labels, and your labels will also mention the best by date or the use by date. Everybody with me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I just hear one, but say yes, sir. All right. So we're talking about wholesome food. I mentioned it before. This is food that can be consumed by human beings without exposing the consumer to food hazards. You don't have to write this down. All right. So let's look at what type of determination we make when we see fruits and vegetables. What do you look for in making your judgment? What judgment would you put into action to choose grapes? Miss Connell, you're going to Corsules. You're going to buy grapes. Miss Connell, you're there?
Sorry here, but I thought I was doing the most. Grapes, I just look at the color. I want to feel. I want to look. Just want to look.
Just gonna feel like people prepare?
Yes.
People are grapes?
Yes.
Yes.
First, be looking because almost every time we go to get grapes, they're always gone mold.
Yes, it's gone. So it's gone. Grapes on those.
Especially when you go into Price Smart.
It's
Well,
got
the
mold?
Welch's ones are good, but the ones that they have inside the crates,
Uh-huh.
those
Yes.
are always bad. I always get
sir.
Welch's.
No, you get enough bad ones in the grapes.
Okay, Hawaii. Anybody can tell me Hawaii?
Like, I
Or probably the moisture.
Moisture?
Yeah.
feel it's
The
temperature.
temperature.
All right, Tristan is saying the temperature.
I think it's temperature too.
Okay, the most things like grapes and strawberries and blueberries and all that, it is when you wash them. When you wash them and put them in the fridge, they're going to spoil. They're going to develop mold. All right. So it is best that that the grapes are kept at a constant temperature all the time. Because let me look at it logically. All right. Whenever you buy grapes, that grapes would have gone through a lot of abuse with time and temperature. So what would have happened is that it would have been in a cool container all the way down to Barbados. Then the forklift man will go in and pull it out and bring it so that the so that the plant quarantine and the inspector can look at it It might be in the sun. Might be. I could be wrong. Might be in the sun. Then he has to carry and put it in the trailer at Baiko. Then you would drive up with your van. Your L200. Your L200 ain't got no sort of cooling system. So you put it in the back of the van. And you gotta drive from here to Christchurch in the hot sun. And then when you get there, you will put it out so that you can put them in bags. Put them in separate bags, but you gotta wash them off first. So you wash them off and put them in the bags. And then you put them in the chiller. All the time, those fruits are going through, abuse of temperature, hot, cold, until they are consumed. So you can see where you can have certain problems with mold on the grapes. That's because of time and temperature abuse. And because whenever you wash them and put them in the fridge, they start to deteriorate. All right? You're looking at apples. What are you looking for?
I don't got bumps on it.
Okay. Dark spots.
Bright color.
It is.
You're looking for a bright color. You're looking for plumpness. All right. You don't look at the stem too to make sure that the stem is green. In fact, when you're looking at grapes, you should look to make sure that those stems are green as opposed to be dry and brown. All right. Because when they are dry and brown, then you can have serious problems with spoilage when it comes to grapes. All right. All right. There's certain vegetables.
Never seen green stems. I always see brown stems. You mean it been all about grapes?
Hey, let's say
I see brown stems.
Yeah, brown stems.
Sir, it won't be like when the grape turning back into the raisin farm. Turning into a raisin farm.
Yeah, it could, but yeah, it could be that too. But you also look at the stems because when it has those stems, the grape could easily drop off the stem. You don't want grapes that drop off the stem because they can lodge down in the bottom of the bag and then you get squeezed and get soft.
Yeah. So sorry, it's got good grapes from.
Let's get some good grapes from Corsules. They cost more, but let's get good grapes from Corsules. That's the truth. I'm satisfied. All right. So I had to tell you fellas during COVID, tape up the bag so people can't jerk their hand in there and touch up the grapes and pull off one and taste to see whether it tastes sour or not. Leave the people grapes alone, or if you want to buy them, go and buy them. Don't just feel them up.
That was the good days when you could have gone take up a grape and taste it. You can't do that now.
You can still taste them at Price Smart.
You can't do that now?
Yes, you can.
The
Welch's bag got a ziplock part. I just open it and taste one of them.
Not just.
But you are putting yourself at risk.
I feel it around the bag, not inside the bag, but around. And sometimes when you're in Price Smart, they don't even have to bag shut.
How you just wash that grape? You just pick it and rub it in your hand and put it in your mouth?
Yeah.
No, please.
I soak mine in water and wash it off.
You want more
Price
water?
Smart got a bathroom right next to the food court.
That's true.
You do a lot to carry grapes, Joy.
Right.
I can't wear grapes. I just tested them before we can
Before
still
you buy
buy
them.
them.
That's stealing, Joy.
The last time I went to Price Smart, somebody got a whole trolley and got a bag of Welch's grapes and ate all and left.
What?
That person ridiculous. But
Yeah.
Groceries
we
and
always
put
buy
it in
grapes
there.
also. So TSA one before we just know when we get home, it can be either we getting sour grapes. Set your mind for sour grapes or set your mind for sweet grapes.
So you
Or
can
grapes
taste
with the
grapes
soup.
and the rest of the bag. So.
Well,
Some
it
need
is
to
what it
mix
is.
up the grapes. Some need to mix up the grapes too.
But
Oh,
so this
wow.
is beer hit man.
Yeah, I there's a particular place that I don't like to buy grapes. When I buy grapes from there, I come home quarrel myself because the grapes is look sturdy and firm, but by the time I get home, it's soft and poppy. I can't take on them grapes. And the spoiled
Whatever that
before.
is.
But then you're going the only me or Jessica will go there.
Huh?
Further north, all the north. Yeah, man, we got at a supermarket down here.
Jardins.
No, I ain't calling you name.
Sir, I get you, sir. I got you.
I ain't calling you name. All right. So, fruits and vegetables, we know what to look for. All right. Let's look at canned and bottled goods. All right. When you're buying canned and bottled goods, what do you look for? Those Belgian cans that look like they got enough corned beef or enough peas. Do you look for the labels for critical dates, best by dates, and use by dates?
Best by dates.
Yeah.
And if you can't look beat up.
Okay. If you can't look rusty, we do whip off with the wet X.
No, sir. That can stay in the market.
Okay. But you know you have to be extremely careful, especially buying can drinks that you don't have rodent urine on it and rodent feces. You don't know what would be happening at night when nobody's in there with respect to rodents and insects.
Sir, that's why you just put a straw in them or just pour it into a cup.
Okay.
You don't wash it off.
You better pour it into
you are buying a can plus or can malt. The one that got the pop up, whatever they call it. You know when you pull that thing, the top go down inside the malt and go down inside the plus. So whether you got a straw or not, you would have contaminated that plus or that malt with what was on the top of the can.
So you can stop you from drinking all these things, huh?
No, I want
No,
that.
you just gotta wash it off to be put on
I
the
wash it off.
with soap and everything. Clean
Isn't
it
it
right.
you have to clean it off. If you're buying tuna, if you're buying any canned foods, you have to wipe off the top of the can.
Even
right?
plastic bottles, sir.
Of
You should wash them off.
Of course. You want to make sure that the safety caps are sealed. You want to make sure that the containers are intact. How do you know that the Baiko ice cream was not interfered with?
Because the thing that it peels off is still on. You know that thing's got to tear off for you to open. You can't.
On all of them?
All I know about that is just be a container.
It just be a container?
See that?
It just be a container.
Just been a container, and I had that thing all over Instagram. And people that licking the ice cream top. That made me stop buying big ice cream.
But you see what I tell you though? What can stop a ignorant body from opening and drinking a hand inside the ice cream to taste the ice cream and then cover it back down?
Well, certain things like the licking, that's a risk, to be quite honest. Because you can't really, you don't realize that somebody licked the ice cream.
You can't realize
that.
that.
Well, like if that is just the design of the ice cream, but if it is that somebody dick the hand in it, then you look like it look tampered.
You carry home already. You ain't gonna buy your ice cream and open it and look in it. You're gonna carry it home.
Still don't know because if somebody did the hand in it, late told and they put it back in the freezer, it looked brand new.
It looked brand new.
It looked
All right,
brand
so
but
you know, I have a problem with Boyko ice cream. I have a problem with that respect. Anybody could contaminate the ice cream and put it back down. If you go for Haagen-Dazs ice cream, now the Haagen-Dazs ice cream got a plastic over it. So you know that if you pull the plastic and it already has been tampered with, you will care about. But with a Boyko ice cream and some ice creams, you don't have that facility.
Sir, I don't like Boyko ice cream. You know that when you use it once, then you put it back in your freezer, it's got a different texture and taste.
That's true. Yeah. I suspect that they might not. Well, they might not be putting in the full ingredients in it. I don't know how many of you were I don't know if you're old enough to remember that once upon a time Pine Hill Dairy was selling ice cream. I don't know if you remember that or if you know about that. All right. and the ice cream tasted better than boycott ice cream, that's because they were putting in all total fats. All right. So if you want to stretch out ice cream and certain foods, you just I am not saying boycott do that, but you can like you can water it down, and the scientists will know what to do so they can stretch. But if you want your ice cream to taste good, it must have the total fats in it that give it that type of taste, give it a nice taste. You got your own flavors and your other ingredients, it will give it a nice taste. All right, you'll find.
That they stop selling it.
Pardon?
Then happened that they stop selling the ice cream after that.
I thought that they weren't. It wasn't a profitable venture. All right, but I know for a fact. When a new product come on the scene, it must be able to get into the market. So there might be other ice creams in the market that ain't gotten the taste, that don't taste just as good as that. But because people would have seen Pine Hill, there is a lot, man, them milk don't be no good, then ice cream can't be no good. But they had a very good taste.
So they gone, I thought that they supply boycott.
They probably no. Boycott get their milk from Trinidad.
That
I think so.
I thought that they said that they were getting it. I know. I thought that Halu was getting his from Trinidad. Or Halu is I know.
No, what a time Boycott used to take milk from the farmers in Barbados. But then Boycott said that they were like HACCP certified. So if you're HACCP certified, your suppliers have to be HACCP certified too. But there was a time when boycott ice cream was sold and it tasted good, all right? Because it was being sold at a certain place and it tasted real good because they had everything in it. All right? I gotta be careful what I'm saying, right? Because I on YouTube and anybody could carry a rock to court, right? So I gotta be careful what I'm saying sometimes. All right. So your but don't forget this particular lesson is on YouTube. All right, and it can be accessed by the public. All right. So sometimes, in speaking the truth, you can put yourself in trouble, all right? Or they might ask me to prove it. I might not be able to prove it, even though it might be the truth. All right. So if you have broken seals, you will reject that particular food. If you have cracked bottles, any bulging cans, any containers of folk labels, reject. All right. Okay. All right. We're looking at fish. What type of what do you look for when you buy fish? You use buy fish, or your parents go buy the fish for you? Anybody?
Play fish, but you still look at the color. Like if it ain't look too red on, or if it ain't look too chopped up, and the color of the actual fish, if it look fresh, if it smell fresh too, go look at them things.
All right. So even though you don't buy fish, there's a possibility that you might be working in a situation where people bring fish. So you have to know what fish to select and what to reject. So if it has a strong ammonia odor, you know that you reject it. You gotta look at the eyes. The eyes gotta be clear and translucent. The gills gotta be red. All right. It must be firm to touch. If it has on scales, the scales must adhere to the body of the fish. There should be no signs of weeping. Anybody can tell me what weeping means? Signs of weeping. No signs of weeping.
That little fish was crying?
Not necessarily.
Then.
This has to do with redness in its eye?
Not really redness in the eye. You ever see red bloody water in the bag. You can see it with chicken as well as with fish.
Yeah.
Right. That's what we call signs of weeping. All right. So what happens is that the fish might have been frozen, then defrost and frozen again, and the red bloody water, the bloody water in the bag is suggesting that the fish is deteriorating, the chicken is deteriorating. So you don't want to have chicken and fish with that type of excessive runoff from it. All right. All right, poultry. What is the healthy color when it comes to poultry? What's the healthy color?
Sir, you can go back to the slide before for 1 minute.
Okay.
I know. Depends on the meat.
Yeah.
All right. So while he is writing up,
That's
this
good, though.
slide. That good? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Healthy color. You go to the supermarket, you buy a chicken. What is healthy color?
Not awful, sort of. Not yellow, but
Not yellow.
Yeah. All right.
not yellow.
The whitish color, like white meat.
Okay. Suppose I showed you the picture of the black chicken in China.
Mm-hmm.
That's dog. That wasn't chicken.
A chicken.
That's why you don't get food from China here.
All right. All right. I gotta show one of that at some point in time. All right. So they got something
Sir,
called.
I ate chicken because he eat it, I know.
Pardon?
That's all it
Sir
is.
saying I ate chicken because he eat it.
Oh no. It's a black chicken. It's called a silky chicken. SILKIE, silky chicken. All right. It's good for like people who are sick and for pregnant ladies and anything. But if you see it normally on a display shelf, you don't want it. Quite, it don't look healthy. All right. Now you don't want chicken with any. I just said chicken with off colors, green and red and that sort of thing and brown. You know that it is deteriorating, and you can smell it. All right. I remember a time I was called to do an inspection at a particular restaurant, not restaurant, a supermarket, and we had chicken. The people were complaining about chicken. All right. How would I know from just looking at the chicken if the chicken is bad or not, even though it is on a refrigerator? So what I did, I pick up a bag and smell it, and I could smell an off odor. So we were able to identify all the chicken that were bad and condemn them. All right. Now, poultry has a natural odor. All right. So if you're getting an off odor, then you can reject that particular food. All right. All right. So we're looking at healthy colors that are important. So for poultry in Barbados is like pink, right? No, it says, yeah, like pink. For wholesome lamb, it is dark pink or red. For wholesome beef, it is bright cherry red. And for pork, it is like pink. So you have to, as persons who are going to be involved in hospitality at some point in time, if you're making it a career, then it is important that you know the various colors of the various foods that come in, especially the meats. All right. Dairy products. You don't want bulging cans or leaking cans, all right? You don't want soiled or damaged containers. You don't want to have broken seals. And it is important that the dairy products are displayed, stored, and displayed safely. What people will normally do is that at nights, they will instruct people to pull out the coolers so as to save electricity when it comes to dairy products. And then in the morning, they'll come in early and plug it back in. And you realize that you would buy some milk, you would have used it once, and then when you go back the second time, the milk is clumpy. it is spoiled. You don't want to have that sort of thing happening. So it's important that proprietors be honest and understand food safety. Because what they're doing, they're not necessarily saving electricity. They're digging into their own profits when they do that. If you keep your products stored and displayed safely, then you can make sure that people will understand, look, this place sells good dairy products. The dairy products are okay. People sell cheese and the cheese turning white and all sorts of colors on the cheddar cheese. Those cheeses should not have any green pigmentation on them. All right, we are looking at those cheese that would have been treated with mold. We are looking at cheddar cheese. Once you see mold on it, you gotta destroy it. All right. Eggs, not a popular thing now. Outside of selling water and drink and other things, eggs are also sold on the highway. Anybody see anything wrong with them selling eggs on the highway?
No. I bought some and it was all pretty good.
Yeah.
All good?
Yeah. Buy my eggs from in Price Mart though, most times.
And you normally go and pick them up from off the shelf or from inside the chiller?
Off the, well, I think it's inside the shelf. Or in
Okay.
a crate.
Is it important that your eggs be refrigerated? Or you ain't nothing wrong with buying eggs that they hot sun for the whole day?
But it don't mean the sun.
This being van.
This being the back of the van.
And the van got refrigeration equipment?
I know, sir.
Yeah, no. Ain't got none. That matter. You even used to put a fowl in a cage there. He advertising
Go for the
eggs.
chipmunk. The chipmunk van don't got AC.
You got AC? You gotta tell me. I know.
I don't know the chipmunk got eggs.
Because then they sell not only them don't only sell eggs, then they sell the meat. So they still got
That gotta be refrigerated then.
So it has to be refrigerated. So once the egg is refrigerated,
that south on the highway, sir, that ain't got no AC and he just selling for years.
he said for years, yeah. What's the issue with eggs and organism? What is the organism that is associated with eggs? Salmonella. And when you put the egg on the refrigerator, you slow down the growth of salmonella. If you have the eggs at room temperature and at high temperatures inside the temperature danger zone, you are going to have an egg laced with salmonella. And depending on what serotype you have, we can be putting our population at risk because we have found salmonella enteritis in the population in chicken, and we would have isolated from stool in the lab. So it has to be in the general population of Barbados. Anybody coming down with salmonella enteritis, they have to, just like how E. coli was, there's no antibiotics or whatever that can lessen the effects of salmonella enteritis. You have to let it run its own course. So you don't want to expose yourself to these organisms and be a carrier. So it's important that when it comes to eggs, that you make sure that you have uncracked, unbroken eggs, clean eggs, eggs that would have been on the refrigerator. I'm making sense?
It makes sense. But
Okay.
you
Well,
know.
all right. I want you to write this down. We're looking at the defects of cans. All right, we're looking at the defects of cans, and the first defect is called a flipper. All right, one end of the can looks normal, but when you press the bottom of the can, the top flips up, and you can press it back down so that it looks normal again. That's exactly what the definition is saying. All right, so take for instance, if this was a can, when you press the bottom, the top comes up, bulge up. You can press it back down, and it looks normal. That's what we call a flipper. On the other hand, there's one called a spring, where the ends are always bulge. You can't miss it. All right, the end is always bulge, and that container might either have the contents might either be laced with the toxin from Clostridium botulinum, or gases in there might be dangerous enough to kill you if you inhale the gas. All right. So when you see the can swallow in that it got enough milk or it got enough peas in it, and you're rushing to get the most that bulge, you're buying Clostridium botulinum. All right, you're buying the gas, you're buying the toxin. Unless you want to use Botox to take out wrinkles.
I think it smell a little bit swiftly.
Give me that again. All right, everybody finished with this one here?
No.
No? All right. Just let me know when you're finished.
So the previous slides, you had to write down on them too?
No, All right, everybody finished with this slide?
I did.
All right, okay. Sorry. All right, the next two defects are hard swell and the breather. I remember I talked about rusting on the can. If you see rusting on the outside, there might be rusting on the inside. All right, there might be rusting on the inside. Hence, when you see rusting on the outside, that can must be discarded. Is Ziona Bodie present? No.
Sir, I think she get exempt though.
Okay. I didn't know that. How about Kiara Grange? Kiara Grange is here?
Sir, she says he had a family emergency, so she can't guarantee that she will make it to class.
Okay. All right. Nisha Howell is here. How about Kiana Hall is here? Shanilo.
Shani, you get
You get
exempted.
Yeah, exempt.
Okay, okay. Kashana Mears is here.
Sir, she live real far. You gotta go all the way to get. I know she home yet.
Okay. All right. I have it on thing. Jessica is here, right? Yeah.
Yes, please.
Alicia Williams is here.
Sir, she live far too.
Wow. All right. So I believe that all of them will access the YouTube. Yeah, the streaming on YouTube. All right. Okay, everybody finished with this? All right, so let's look at these are cans that would have been swollen. All right, in another case, they got pinhole. These would have had some heavy dinks in them. All right, this has some good body blows. So you would, unless it dropped for you, all right, you won't go on a shelf and realize that they cost less than the rest. They cost 17 cents, and you're gonna buy enough. All right, pet away them. You're gonna spend the money that you save at your doctor. So anytime you see heavily dented cans, all right, if you see heavily dented cans, make sure you get an exchange for them. All right. Okay. All right. Let me stop the sharing here. Let me try another. All right. All right. Everybody can see the slide properly now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. So this is module 4. We were looking at safe food storage. All right. In the first presentation, I want the presentation to look like this. Right
So
here.
you're sending this for us?
Pardon?
You sending this for us?
Yeah. Joy, I didn't say the whole thing to you.
Yes, sir. And I send it back.
What's that?
It gotta be in
your
it
email?
gotta be in the one.
All right.
I sent from 1 to 9. All right. Okay. All right. So we're talking about safe food storage practices. Again, this is another one of the risk factors. Everybody understanding that? So we look at personal hygiene. Personal hygiene is part of the risk factors. Hello.
Yes.
How about purchasing and receiving?
Yes.
How about food storage practices?
Yes.
Right. So we're on to the third risk factor, safe food storage. Now, all right, let me go. All right, so I want you to write down this definition for safe storage and tell me what words that we would have looked at from module 1 that came back in module 2 and now in module 4. Tell me what words that seem here familiar to you. We're looking at the definition for safe storage.
Foodborne illness.
You're sure of that?
Yes.
Read it through again.
Hazard.
No, not hazard. 2
You
words.
talking about eliminates and so on?
Of course. I'm talking about eliminating and reducing. Yeah. So it talks about significantly reduces. And it talks about eliminates. So when we are storing food, we have to make sure that we reduce significantly the spread of foodborne illnesses or food hazards, or eliminate those food hazards. So you're storing bread. All right? You're storing bread. You put in a plastic bag and you will tie the plastic bag, right? All right, around. Yes. Because in some bakeries, not in most bakeries, right? People have the bread there to cool down. They got some malicious gypsy flies that is going and settle upon the bread. And then you go and buy the bread, and when you open the bag, 2 or 3 flies flying out. So let's small flies. Yeah.
But you can't put them. All right. You don't. All right. So you got the bread cool first. I just talking from where it was working. But you land the bread cool first, and then you packing them when the cool.
Yeah.
If you put the bread in the bag when the hot, it can produce more because the moisture.
Of course, I agree with you. I agree with you 100%. But I'm also saying that you gotta be careful with your insects and thing around. All right. That's a gypsy. Oh, shoot. What are you gonna do? All right. All right. Yeah. That's a gypsy flies only that gonna settle on the bread. And you got no tuna in bread and you got your hot sauce and thing and you eating bread next to yourself fly kamuki bread. That's disgusting. And they got a particular fly. I don't know the name of it, but they got a particular fly that does that all the time. So you gotta be very careful. Even though you tie the top of the bag, that fly can still get into the bag.
What do you mean, salt flies?
No,
I think so.
It's not them small. Them small flies.
Small fly.
It's just be flowing through the air.
We just call them sour fly, no?
Sour fly.
Yeah, we
And a
just call
sour
them
fly. And a sour fly, round. But that one got elongated body like a mosquito. Ain't as big as a mosquito, but it body shaped like mosquito.
As a sandfly.
Something like a sandfly, but it can burrow into bags and things. I can't take on no. Especially salt bread. You eat a salt bread, and that thing, he fly out. All right. So when we talk about safe storage, we're looking at maintaining the food and the food product. We are storing it in ways that will eliminate or will significantly reduce the spread of foodborne illnesses and the presence of food hazards. All right. Okay. So storage is evolved from receiving right through to serving. If you look at it carefully, when the truck bring the bread, it's already stored in bags and all that. You bring it to delivery place, you just move it from there and carry it inside the supermarket and put it on the shelf. All right? It is there stored on the shelf under normal conditions because, where bread can be stored at room temperature for a few days. Then you go and pick up the bread and you carry it home and you store it. So from receiving right through to serving, there are storage. There's a lot of aspects of storage in there. There are many steps for storage. All right. Okay. So when you have good storage practices, you reduce the loss due to spoilage. You protect the wholesomeness of the food, and you reduce the incidence of foodborne illnesses and food hazards. All right. And we're talking about all aspects of storage now. We're already talking about dry storage, we're talking about wet storage, we're talking about chill, we're talking about frozen, we're talking about hot storage. You want to, when you have good storage practices, you reduce spoilage. You protect the wholesomeness of the food. You reduce the incidence of foodborne illness. You have whole legal and ethical guidelines. All right. Anybody ever went to Martinique or went to any French territories?
Yeah.
Okay. How they sell the bread?
They just sell it in paper bags.
Paper bag?
Yeah, paper bags are like in what do they call those there? Plastic bags. It depends.
Once upon a time, my wife and they tell me they just sell it straight like that. You put it on tie on point bicycle, you move and go along with it. Ain't got in a bag, paper bag, plastic bag, nothing. So all you have to get a piece of cord and tie on the bread on the bicycle.
So when I went last year with my school, when we went to the pastry shop, they had paper bags that you could put it in.
Oh, okay. All right.
So you have to send this PowerPoint because this ain't inside the rest.
That's not in it? All right.
No.
All right, so send it to Joy then?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay. So when people are storing, we talk about upholding legal and ethical guidelines. The laws of Barbados speaks towards storage. All right, it says that you're in dry storage, your food should be like 6 inches from off the ground and away from the wall. All right, that it should be properly covered. Now, when it talks about cold storage, now it says that it should be in a clean container. When we talk about ethical guidelines, now we're looking at what is the best practice. So what's best practice for Barbados is not best practice for China. Everybody understand that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So while we might put certain things away in the refrigerator, other people might put them on the ground. So safe storage practice upholds legal and ethical guidelines. And it can encourage greater customer satisfaction because people only have to see you doing something ignorant. But when this was written, they had a cell phone then. They can take pictures, but if people see you doing foolishness with food, they are going to take out their cell phone and they're going to put it, is going to be on the whatever media in short fashion. And once people see that you're doing foolishness, it's going to dig into your profits. Because people will stop buying. All right? So safe storage practices will ensure greater customer satisfaction. All right. So you always hear me talk about time and temperature control. All right. When we look at cooking, we talk about time and temperature. And you if you want to ensure safe storage, you have to maintain time and temperature control. You have to make sure that you don't have any problems with contamination and cross-contamination. What is FIR for?
First in, first out, sir?
Yeah, first in, first out. So you have the products that are fresher, they are placed at the back of the shelf, while the older products are at the front. First in, first out. So when we're dealing with storage, we're dealing with dry storage. All right? We're dealing with wet storage, which can be divided into chilled or frozen. And then we're dealing with hot storage. All right? I want you to write down you see the second point here. So what is the correct temperature? I want you to write that down and underline it. You have to remember that You have to remember what is room temperature, and that is for dry storage. You have to know chill storage, the temperature for chill products, and the temperature for frozen products, and the temperature for hot products. All right.
Sir, we can't hear you. Oh, you mute.
Yeah, I was calling my daughter. All right. So for dry products and liquids, drinks and all that, you can serve your drinks cold, you can serve your drinks hot. And the temperature, 82 degrees Fahrenheit or 28 degrees Celsius, which is room temperature, does not affect liquids to that extent. All right. Now, when you have your dairy products now, your dairy products must be at chill temperature. That's between 1 to 4 degrees Celsius or 34 to 40 degrees Fahrenheit. And your frozen products now, the question I asked first is supposed to be minus 18 degrees Celsius or 0 degrees Fahrenheit. All you must know these temperatures.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
Sorry, I have to go because I have to go home. So I will look on YouTube for the rest of the information.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right. So remember, all of you must know. If I wake at you 12 o'clock tomorrow night, I ask you what is room temperature. You ever tell me 82 degrees Fahrenheit, 28 degrees Celsius, sir? Stop humbugging me. You have to know these temperatures. So that as a supervisor, and you going through certain logs, and you see certain temperatures for certain foods, you would know, well, this temperature is adequate. Or you would say, look, this temperature is not adequate. Based on the fact that you know, when it comes to hot food, everybody should know that the minimum temperature is 140 degrees Fahrenheit. And you can get up to 165 degrees Fahrenheit. Once it's above 140, no problem. All right. I can turn to the next slide. All right. So basically what we're saying in this particular slide here is that these are the guidelines in our health services regulations. It says that all storage areas must be kept clean, well lit, well ventilated, pest, rodent, and pet free. Now, why well ventilated? Anybody can tell me? Why should your storage areas, especially your pantry, if you got a larder or whatever, a cupboard, why should your cupboard that hold your dry goods should be well ventilated?
Is it because the heat could cause them to sweat or whatnot?
Heat will cause what to sweat me, like rice or flour or anything, so?
I don't know. Heat does
the heat does make it like
spoil some good
ripen pasta.
Yeah.
It's called what the pasta?
Ripen faster, like potatoes and bananas and stuff, and put in cupboard. Them go right quick, and go off.
Okay, all right. You getting the idea? All right. Especially when it comes to dry goods like flour and pasta, macaroni, rice. When they're the hot cupboards, what do you see next? Tell me.
We both.
Right, because the heat, all right, if it is not well ventilated, the heat will cause the life cycle of the particular insect to start. So that's why some people put their flour in the fridge, or they will put the pasta or the macaroni in the fridge. If you leave them in hot conditions.
So
yeah,
I can tell you, I just eat oats, right? I think I get a particular brand, Mama's or something like that. You know what I'm talking about?
Okay, yeah.
And I think it's last week or something like that. I did oats. And going back for a second round, I think the first round that I start eating, I see a worm inside of it.
A worm, yeah. That's the larvae.
And then I say one worm can't kill you, but then when I look and I see 3 other worms, and I say, no, I have to throw this.
Okay.
But it's like the worm drying to the oats or what's not while they were processing it, and they package the worm and whatnot.
No. Oats is from the ground. So all of those things that I call oats and rice and wheat and flour and macaroni, all of them come from the ground. So you're going to get the eggs of the insects there. All right? So even though they might go through a certain process, you will still see the eggs will survive. But if you put the macaroni inside the fridge, you will eat the eggs and nothing will happen. If you keep the oats outside of the fridge, you will constantly see those insects. It may be better to store your oats in the refrigerator as opposed to inside the pantry or in a hot cupboard.
So I didn't think the worms was alive or what's not. I think they had already dried out or something like that.
Okay,
they were white.
So there might have been bad storage prior to you buying those oats.
So I should take a picture and send it to the place.
Yeah, and see what happens.
Well, it's done showing.
All right. So when you have a well-ventilated storage area, it will reduce, it will eliminate those hazards. All right. You, of course, the law also states about first in, first out, and it talks about cleaning spillages immediately, and that there should be no direct communication between these storage areas and sanitary facilities. So if you have a sanitary facilities, you should put on a door to it so it would not open to a storage area or serving area or an area where you are eating food. All right. Okay. So we're looking at the characteristics of dry storage. Number one, dry storage should be dry. Are you making sense? Or am I making sense? Or are you being too obvious? Dry storage should be dry.
Yeah.
Well lit, cool, clean, tidy, well ventilated. And we spoke to that just now. All right? Should be 6 inches off the floor, indoors, 18 inches off the ground, outdoors. If you have heavy, bulky items, they should be cross-stacked. You know, like when you're packing boxes, pack like five with the back facing that way, and the next 5 you put the backs back there so they will settle down good. Same way with bulky items. You don't put all the potatoes head and tail. All right, you put some one way, you put some another way, so that it can go up in stacks and won't fall and injure somebody. All right. Dry storage should be dry. If you have transportation, if you have vehicles, it should meet the same requirement, the same criteria. So your vans that you carry out food in, dry storage foods should have like pallets where the goods are rest on those pallets. They're rested on those pallets. If you have a one-day event, like you doing food for crop over, we don't want to see drinks dumping ground. You know, but sir, but the drinks in plastic. They could keep on the ground. No. They must be off the floor. Even if you got cooler, the cooler should be off the floor. Those are things that we enforce rigidly. All right. All right. For wet storage, chill storage, and frozen storage. All right. We want to practice first in, first out again. You want to have the chiller, because we're looking at commercial size chillers. Should be well lit. It should be tidy. All right, clean, and you should have certain labels and dates. You should not overload the containers or store them, and whenever you're storing things, they should be in shallow pans. You will realize that all the food storage utensils are like 4 inches deep or less. You want to have that to facilitate uniform cooling of the food. You want to really put in the food in that pan. All right. You want to make sure that the top, the middle, and the bottom cool down uniformly, as opposed to having the top cold, the bottom cold, but inside the middle at room temperature. You don't want that. That's why you should not, for good storage practices, you shouldn't store a deep pot inside the fridge, because the top is going to be cold. The sides that come in contact with the food are going to be cold, and the bottom is going to be cold. You want that you have your products cool down uniformly and evenly. All right. So you have to cool down hot foods safely before placing them in chill or frozen storage. I spoke to that before. If we want to deal with Bacillus cereus, all right, we have to cool down the hot food safely before we put it in shallow pans to further cool down. When you cool it down quickly, you shock the organism. All right. Do not store on the floors of walk-in refrigerators, and also monitor the temperatures and maintain safe temperatures. And we tell people, do not serve the customer ice that you use to cool down foods. All right. All right. So next week we will start on this particular slide. All right. We're going to be looking at the requirements for safe storage of food handling equipment now. Now we talk about storage for food. We also have to talk about storage of the equipment, food handling equipment. All right, it's about 2 minutes to 4. I would like to thank you for being here. I would like to apologize again for starting late. All right, I have to realize that on Fridays now I have to make sure that I head to my place of abode instead of trying to get to community college and get to this place and get to the next place before I come home. All right, so please
So
let
it's no problem. We just always be late, so
yeah.
it's okay.
I prefer that you late than I lay. When I lay, I'd be nervous and really helter skelter trying to get things organized. All right, I
And you
like to
don't
be
have to
early.
send the presentation again. I got it from
You
someone.
got them. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to stop the recording. All right, live on YouTube. All right. I have to go to the other computer and close the close the streaming. So everybody have a nice weekend. Stay safe and do your revision, please. All right. Today I just handed in the exam. We have some more work to cover. All right.
Which exam is this for? Finals.
Finals, yeah. Finals.
Oh.
Yeah.
Remember we came about the results quiz?
When everybody hand in their thing. Zara Culmore, you got the link to do the quiz.
Please.
All right, talk with Joy. Talk with Joy. Joy Squares. Joy, give her the link to the multiple choice that we had. All right, Joy. Joy, I hear Joy.
So we're gonna make sure she gets.
Pardon?
We gonna make sure she gets it.
Okay. And Watson, Miss Watson gone already? Miss Watson, I need to. Yeah, Miss Watson gone. She gone. All right. So there are just 2 or so persons who have not handed in their tests, but I have all the others corrected. I have your marks already in the sheet, in the record sheet. So I'm just waiting those 2 persons. So when I get them, we'll let everybody know exactly how they done. All right. So thank you very much again. I'm going to go and close off this string, this YouTube string.